storage. We've leveled this area. You'll notice this area is a lot bigger than in my second world. This is basically the third series. Now, I would highly recommend you find an area where you have this kind of room. Although I guess some people put their personal rooms underground. Although it seems like they would have to wait until you clear out, a place underground. But, I don't know. Whatever. But having this amount of room is really paying off for me, and I would actually like to have more room, because the time you get these stockpiles, it eats up room. But this is going along pretty well. Let's get back where you've got some stuff to see. What I'm trying to do is get a more balanced game. In the last game we got into the dungeons and deep in the dungeons, but I never got the town built, and I never got very many townies, and I just couldn't get them. I was switching back and forth between guards and townies, because guards seem to build up by not doing tasks. Their happiness goes up more quickly than a regular townies. Once they're doing tasks, their happiness drops. And I've been checking a lot on forums, and evidently that's not an uncommon mechanism. Now, he's down at level 4. They've actually discovered quite a bit. They haven't discovered over here where this iron deposit is the problem. And they actually cleared out part of that room. That's where my people were getting killed from. Let me pause for a minute and see how my people are doing on their tasks. I don't mean pause this. I just need to go see if they're goofing off, I need to kind of know, because that's their next big thing, is to goof off. There's one of our heroes at the arena, enjoying the arena. And what you do is you get them all to rest. I've got food set on build 2, so there's always somebody doing something. The happiness, I found out, as far as I can tell from forums, is based on an average. That's actually very important. So that's why the guard thing kind of works. It didn't work for me in the long run, but some people who seem to use it quite a bit. It's considered, not the best way to do things. You're supposed to build up their happiness naturally, and by resting them more than anything. Rest is the main way to build up their happiness, but naturally when they're doing that, they're not doing anything. And also, if you've got a lot of orders lined out for them, like you want them to dig here and do this and cultivate that, and they're always hauling stuff, and there's no way to just say don't haul stuff. You can turn your stockpiles off. That's as close as it gets. If you go to all your stockpiles and disable them, or anyway the ones that seem most active, you can go ahead and get them to stop hauling that way, but that's about the only mechanism for that. But as far as you go, well, I want to dig this out, I want to dig that out, you'd have to go around and use cancel and cancel all those orders. Problem with the guard mechanism is, well, number one, it's a pain in the ass, but it didn't seem to work out for me over time. If it works for you, great. On forums, it seemed to be kind of considered to be a bit of a cheat, or maybe totally a cheat. I don't read that deep into how people view, different ways to accomplish things in a game that are not, put there specifically by the designers. The guard mechanism, if you do use that where you throw a bunch of guys into soldiers, it's suggested that you give them you can set patrol points where you take a point, and I don't have any soldiers, but anyway, you would do that. You would right click on a square and set a patrol point. But if you set it by the arena and you've built happiness items there, like you set it on the balcony, then they're looking around them as they're standing there goofing off as soldiers at a bunch of happiness items. Or you can build up stuff in the market and set them a patrol point in the market. But like I said, it's kind of looked down on as a way to get past the game. Problem is, you've got a building game where every time they're building or do anything related, any activity, their happiness goes down. So you're basically penalized for building, so you have to balance that with the happiness and with rest. But rest is the thing that brings their happiness up the most. I gotta know what this guy's doing out here. Thomas Beauville. Alright, he's going for raw steak. Now there is no raw steak out here. Oh, he's going for a steer. So they've used up, what's happened is they've used up all these farms produce a certain number of animals over time. I don't see any pigs either. So what we need to do is go to butchering and have them stop butchering for a while. That also means they've used up a bunch of food. Okay, I had a little problem with, I was counting a lot on meat being produced. And what I did is I did something wrong. Surprise, surprise. When you're setting up these farms, the post I'm looking at says you need 2 cows or 2 pigs or 2 chickens to make this farm. Now the reason they're ephemeral, and I've always wondered about that, why you can't see them and then you can see them, I believe is so you can see how many real animals. Because all this does, there's no actual cows in there. They chunk out a cow. The mine shafts do it about every 16 minutes with iron ore, coal ore, and copper ore. So I'm assuming the same mechanism. Or let's just say for the purpose of arguments, I'm not assuming squat in this game. Okay, so in order for them to make this farm, they have to go find 2 pigs. And I was thinking 1 when I just did this, so I just screwed up again. I can see 3 pigs on my map. So I can do 1 farm because I've got 2 with 1 loose pig. So let's get rid of this until we have more pigs. Well, I don't know. That says pig. It doesn't say pigs. And if they don't have enough, they'll go look around the map, and I've got 4 and only 3 pigs, so I lost count anyway. So let's destroy 1. Okay, the same thing with cows. Now, with these made so they're, ghostly, I have 1, 2, 3 cows. Now, what do they say? It says need cow. The post said 2 cows, so I'm not sure. But anyway, in a nutshell, what I did was I made a few farms and then I started butchering. And it butchered the animals they need to make new farms. So when you first make your farms, you make sure that you have that many animals around somewhere to make the starting farm. And if you're going to make more farms, you need more animals to start more farms. Or else what they have to do is they have to search the map. I don't think they can do anything with boars. There's a pig there. But you don't necessarily want them running all over the map, especially early. I've only seen 2 froggies lately. Well, also it's a waste of time, and if they go far enough, they can actually starve. I think I may be down to 2 froggies. I think the hero... No, there's another one there. 3. But, yeah, and I don't see any up here. 4. Another thing is, as your game progresses, the deeper you get into a game, the further out these damn things come. So if you're close to them, in this map I wasn't at all, although I wouldn't have wanted to be real close to them. I'm not going to lie to you about that, but, if they'd been even over here, I would have not been deeply concerned. So you guys decide, again, style. You decide how far away you want them. Now, chicken farms, I want a bunch of chickens so I can have eggs so they can make omelets. And I know there's enough chickens to make these farms, so that's fine. I'm also you can't put a farm on stone. And I might need some of this area up here. We might wind up growing, I don't know, we could harvest those and harvest those and harvest those. I never got deep enough into colors to know how much you need or all that nonsense, so... But anyway, on your farms, you need the animals to start them, which I knew, but it never occurred to me that by butchering them, I was getting rid of the new startup animals and that I had finally just cleared them out completely. I had noticed with the badger farms, when you're running a lot of badger fights, and 2, 3 farms just isn't enough to do badger farms. I don't know, we're getting quite a few of them. But anyway, I was going to build some more badger farms just for the badger fights, and I've got enough badgers to go ahead and do that. I don't necessarily care if those little buggers are running around out here. And I've got so much mud, I'm not worried about it. I don't feel this cheating the game to destroy a piece of mud or a piece of stone. And I don't know how close or far they need to be from anything. I was trying to find out, people talk about fencing the farms, and I don't know if there's any reason to fence them. I couldn't find one, but maybe there is. The only mention I ran across of fencing them had to do with something like this to keep them in the same area. So let's build a couple of more badger farms, and we won't have to worry about that one way or another with when we're doing the badger fights. That, and you can eat the damn meat, so all that's good. I don't know if I've got room for one more. Yeah, I do. Let me get rid of that mud. And you might be able to put these right on top of each other. I just don't know. So some of this, just after a while, it gets really hard to find, especially when you're looking for a detail like that. So like I said, the game's in development. Some things you just kind of have to look for. And I've spent a lot of time in forums looking for happiness and trying to figure it out. So, there's a kind of a limit after a point. I'm not sure how much of that little thing Alright, what I've done is I've cut way back on butchering. I've completely eliminated cows and pigs, and they're still butchering badgers. I don't know, I'm going to cut that down to 1. And what I did is I kicked baking way up because that's something I mentioned earlier. Another thing is I've got this wall on the bakery too high. I don't mean too T-O-O high, but it's 2 the number high. And I wonder, I went ahead and knocked out this wall. I wonder if they have enough access. I've seen people walk through each other, but I don't know if the game fusses over that mechanism or not. So what we're going to do, we're going to turn this back on and see how that goes. Alright, they don't, yeah, see, they're even walking between the wall down the back of the ovens, or they appeared to be. Now that's another thing I wondered about. Now I had put the door in here and then put the wall, and there was a gap on each side of the door, and I think you have to go ahead and finish the wall. And then that's what I did here. This wall was finished across the top. So I think you have to go ahead and finish the wall too high, and the door appears to be too high, but evidently it's inset somehow. Now, there's just some of this is really in how you would try to Google that or find it. I don't even have a clue. Let me see if I can get some kind of angle on this. Well, let me cheat and use this damn thing. Alright, we want the door. And that's wall. Wait, was that wall? That's wall. So that is where we want the door, because that's wall. This is where I screw up on this building stuff, because it looks to me like that door ought to be there, or kind of in between. Oh well, life goes on. But it doesn't look like there's a problem with the, let me get rid of that nasty grid. Doesn't look like, but the bakery doesn't seem to be producing like it should be. Maybe I'm just not seeing it.